Whoops, I accidentally typed Lespawn.
Lespont.
Lespont.
His name is Gabriel Lespont.
Gabriel Lespont.
At-
But to his friends, he is Al Spawn. Al Spawn. Mr. Al Spawn. Because his name's Al, right?
Yeah.
Al Spawn.
Al,
That's stupid.
Al Spawn Simmons.
Master Chief Halo.
Esquire.
Lazor Comb.
We are not going to panic.
What the heck even happened to you, man?
Vengeance.
Shrimp Daddy! Ha 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 ha!
Give him a hockey stick!
What am I, fucking magician, man?
Am I some kind of fucking magician, man?
Fucking nerd.
Big nerd! Whatever. It's not like we're professionals anyway.
And I'm not sorry anymore.
Time to bake brain.
Every day, yes.
What is the airwolf of trains? Welcome to episode 118 of the Lazor Comb podcast. Podcast where two cool dudes comb through classic television with a fine-tooth laser. I am one of your hosts, the one and only Neo Cal.
And I'm the other host, Christopher McFarlane's Siege.
Christopher McFarlane's Siege.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that get your name legally changed to Christopher. Oh, not Christopher McFarlane Siege. Christopher McFarlane's Siege.
With an apostrophe, yeah.
Are you allowed to? I imagine people have names that are like X-12 or other crazy shit. Or Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
So damn it. Yeah. We're doing up a Spawn.
Spawny, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Spawny, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
That live action Spawn movie is not great, but John Leguizamo is fucking 10 out of 10 as clown in that movie.
And I feel like the some of the CG, it's not that it holds up, it's that for its time was impressive.
The cape was somewhat impressive for the time. I remember Malbolgia looked atrocious, though.
He's supposed to look atrocious, you monster. Because we're talking about Spawny. Spawny McSpawn Man. Or as we like to call him, Al Spawn.
Al Spawn Simmons.
Al Spawn Simmons.
Esquire.
Esquire. What is Spawn, you might ask? Spawn is Hellspawn Man. Brought back from hell. But face still burned.
He fireman from hell.
He fireman from hell. Like chain. Magic cape.
Big fan of Venom.
Lots of green stuff going in him.
So
that's basically Spawn.
Yeah, so this is we're continuing on with Image Comics Month / Patreon pick.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going in chronological order of release of shows from the 90s based on Image Comics. So here we are finally at Todd McFarlane's Spawn, which aired for 3 seasons on HBO from 1997 to 1999. Short little seasons, 6 episodes apiece.
Not bad.
And they were short short enough that I actually remember this show being released on VHS and DVD, edited together as movies.
Oh.
Which was kind of novel for the time. And people, this was at a time where TV shows being on VHS and DVD wasn't all that common.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit of a refresher, Image Comics began in 1992. It was founded by former superstar Marvel Comics artist Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Mark Silvestri, Jim Valentino, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and I think that's it. Maybe one or two others in there. Each creator had their own imprint where they owned their own characters, but were all published under the Image Comics banner. Mm-hmm. Todd McFarlane's company is known as Todd McFarlane Productions.
I wonder who owns that company.
Yeah, I wonder.
It'd be hilarious if he sold the company. Then his name would still be Todd McFarlane Productions, but he'd have no part in it.
He would have to change his name.
Oh, he would have to change his name. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, the company would still be Todd McFarlane Productions, and whoever buys it, they get the rights to the name Todd McFarlane. They become Todd
McFarlane. Like his face like morphs, and he becomes Todd McFarlane. And it's like you sign the contract in blood, and then you just hear a voice, Keith David's voice, be like, "It is done." you transform into him.
What a fucking nightmare.
And yeah, that's what Image Comics is.
Yeah. Jim Lee later sold his imprint Wildstorm to DC Comics. But Todd McFarlane Productions still part of Image, and the Spawn comic book is still going. It is the longest running independent comic book in history.
God damn.
Yes, I don't know.
That's a lot of issues of like brooding atop a church, monologuing about like how sad you are.
Yeah, so I really liked this show back when I was a teenager, but I forgot just how much of Spawn. Rewatching it today.
Go on. How much of Spawn you love?
Like 90% of Spawn is just Spawn brooding and raging about his former life now being over.
My favorite is the multiple times an episode, his mask had like regrown, and he goes forward to scare people because he's so self-pitying. He rips the mask off. He rips it off like at least once an episode to show people his gnarled, nasty,
decomposing face.
Decomposing, burned face. Yeah.
He's also really fucking creepy with his wife. Like, I get.
What are you talking about?
I get that the dude like loves her and like came back from hell for her, but holy shit, he's kind of creepy.
No, you mean you wouldn't just like sit outside, your wife's house and stare at her from the darkness through the bay windows, and then when she like leaves, you approach the window and just.
Maybe I'd do it once or twice, but
then move on.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually met Todd McFarlane.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Met him at Fan Expo many years ago. He's a really good speaker. I'll say that. He's a very good public speaker. I went to one of his panels, and yeah, that's probably the highest compliment I can pay him, is that he's a good speaker.
There you go.
To be a little
good speaker, this episode is brought to you by Raycon here. But
to be a little more frank, I kind of get like bullshit artist vibes from him. Like, he's a very smooth talker, but it's like I kind of always got the feeling that it like half the stuff that was coming out of his mouth was nonsense.
Fair. And the other half is Spawn.
The other half is Spawn. The other half is Spawn, and then yet another half is baseballs, and yet another half is toys.
150%. That's 150%
That's 200% Todd McFarlane.
That's 200% Todd McFarlane. And whenever he reaches critical mass, he just splits into two smaller Todd McFarlanes, and they run off and continue making Spawn comics.
The 6 degrees of Todd McFarlane, if you will.
Yeah.
Speaking
and it's
of
not how you can connect to Todd McFarlane. It's how many Todd McFarlanes there are.
Speaking of Spawn and toys. Sorry for the audio.
You know what I like?
But I have a Spawn
you know what I
here.
like about he's got a Spawn figure there, and they always make an effort to like make the chains actual like like little chains and like texture and detail. A lot of them. All of the I like that.
This Spawn figure is from his appearance in Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh shit. I forgot like everybody is in that game.
Even RoboCop.
RoboCop is in it. Terminator is in it.
Rambo.
Leatherface, Rambo. Or is that Mortal Kombat X that Leatherface was in?
I think that was Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah. But like everyone's been Xenomorph.
Everyone has been in a Mortal Kombat game at this point.
Isn't Invincible Omega Man? Isn't he in one of them? Yeah.
I am Omega Man.
Yeah, everybody, you know the intro to Invincible. I am Omega Man.
I've actually only ever watched the first episode of Invincible, and it was several years ago now. I think it was like 2021.
I keep up with it. But sometimes I get spoilered because like YouTube shorts pop up with like spoilers from the comic, and I'm like,
So I was a big fan of Spawn, and I mentioned this in previous episodes, but I was a big fan of Image Comics in general in the 90s. I used to read Spawn. So Spawn is a former covert ops agent named Lieutenant Colonel Al Simmons.
Al Spawn Simmons.
He is betrayed by his boss, Jason Wynn, and murdered by being burned alive. He goes to hell. He meets one of the head honchos in hell, Malbolgia. Not actually the devil himself, but just one of many. There's no...
Just one of the... Oh, there's no head devil?
There's no, like, equivalent to, like, the Christian devil in this version of hell. It's like every, like, level of hell is led by, like, a big-ass demon. And, like, the 8th circle of hell is led by Malbolgia. So he makes a devil with
so that part's the same. There's, like, layers of hell.
Yeah.
Like a 7-layer dip of hell. But there's just a big honcho of each one.
Yeah. The Dante's Inferno version of hell, if you will.
Nice.
Al Simmons makes a deal with Malbolgia to come back because he loves his wife that much, gosh dang it. And in exchange for being sent back to Earth, he has to be a chief general in Malbolgia's army in the inevitable war between heaven and hell. In typical fashion, where you make a deal with the devil,
everything ends up all right.
Everything ends up all right. He is sent back to Earth. He's sent back to Earth 5 years later in a decaying corpse that is wrapped in a living symbiotic suit and cape.
Carnage, yeah. So he's got a Carnage cape.
He basically has a Venom symbiote as his suit. And indeed, both Venom and Spawn were designed by Todd McFarlane, and it shows.
Coincidence? No.
No.
And he's kind of supernatural. It's an aesthetic more than anything.
So he inhabits his decaying corpse, which is filled, like, as I mentioned, wrapped in this like symbiote suit and this like living cape. Inside of his corpse is this green energy of hell called necroplasm.
Necroplasm.
Originally in the comics, he had a limited amount of ticks of necroplasm that he could use, and it was 4 numbers. They all started at 9999, and they would slowly go down every time he would use like his powers for something. And when the counter reaches 0, he goes back to hell for all eternity.
So he has 9,999 uses of necroplasm.
Well, that's how many ticks of necroplasm he has, depending on what he does with it.
Sometimes it would take more.
Yeah. And a gimmick early on in the comics, because I actually, I used to have like the first like 40
How many
or so
ticks
issues.
does it take to turn your cape into a cool motorcycle?
All of them.
Oh shit! So you only get to do that once.
Yeah, an early thing in the comics was you would see a comic book panel that would show like where every few pages after Spawn does something, it would show like where how many ticks of necroplasm he has left. They ended up getting around that because I think he ends up encountering a character in Hell who is basically Superman, and he takes his power, and it removes the like necroplasm limitations.
Thanks, Hell Superman.
Yeah, thanks. That's me going from memory for comics that I read like 30 years ago, but if I recall correctly, that's how that went down. Anyway, so that's Spawn. And indeed, another character in the episode that we're watching, which is the 14th episode overall, the second episode of Season 3, Twitch is Down, which originally aired on May 24th, 1999. There is a character called Cagliostro, who in the comics was a Hellspawn himself. He freed himself from Malbolgia's influence. I mention this because he literally has one tick of necroplasm left. And he just hasn't been using his powers for centuries as basically a fuck you to Malbolgia.
Is that the old man?
Yeah, that's the old man. Yeah.
Oh, he was acting high and mighty. He was acting like he was like some magic. Well, we'll get into it, but he says he's like a magician.
He's Merlin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He acts like he's hot shit because honestly, he kind of is.
Fair. And all the other Hellspawn, they blew their load of necroplasm way too fast and like went back to hell.
Yep.
And there's once the old dude. He says that once a generation or once a century or something like that, there's a new Hellspawn like let out onto the world, and so he tries to lead them down the righteous path.
Yeah, his ultimate goal is he wants to atone for the sins of his life that initially like sent him to hell in the first place, and he wants to do that by helping free another Hellspawn from Malbolgia's influence.
So he wants to free himself from the influence by freeing someone else.
Well, he is already free of Malbolgia's influence. He just basically is like walking around with Catholic guilt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that's well said. Yeah. So he is free.
Yeah.
So what happens if he uses his last vial of necroplasm?
His last tick, then he will go back to hell.
Oh, well, so then he's not free.
He's freedom is a state of mind.
Okay, yeah.
He's not working for Malbolgia.
He needs to not get angry and like flutter up an alleyway onto a rooftop with a magic cape.
Yes.
You need to not accidentally press the left analog stick in to activate like Berserker mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult, but he's done it for hundreds of years.
Can you imagine he just like blows his nose really hard or something like that?
That's like
it's like
just nuts really hard and shoots his necroplasm everywhere. It just goes, bursts into flames.
Daddy, I'm coming home.
Doing some lady of the night in the church and just necroplasms everywhere and bursts into flames.
Yeah.
Nobody will believe you. He's just like, I've seen worse.
Yeah, around this time, Spawn was hot shit in general in the 90s. There was this TV show, the toys were big, the comic was big. By this point, there was already a bunch of Spawn comic book spin-offs, and there was a movie, action movie.
Live action movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I was stoked for the movie. I mean, again, I was a kid, but I thought it was cool.
You
I
know,
haven't seen it in like 20 years.
it's fun. That movie gets a bad rap. It's definitely more of a superhero take on Spawn than this show is, and honestly, I think I kind of like superhero Spawn more than brooding
How
emo
fucking
Spawn.
dare you? You piece of shit. That is not the Spawn that I know and love. I don't know if there is a Spawn I know and love. You know what? I, maybe we can like cap the episode and then I'll say my feelings on it. But one thing I will say is that I was watching this and I'm like, man, I'm glad this isn't just a cartoon where there's like superhero fist fights.
Yeah,
So maybe we had different takes on it.
could be.
Maybe. So Twitch is down. So Al Spawn is gooning in his goon cave beneath the church or above the church. And Twitch goes down for maintenance. And he's like, oh fuck.
Oh,
Grandpa, Hot Pockets.
oh,
And he has to lean the goon cave to go the Spawn cave, if you will.
that reminds me, the episode actually opens in a very like kind of like Tales from the Crypt or like beyond belief, fact or fiction.
Holy shit, there's a there's a reference.
Yeah, I know, right? Jonathan Frakes. But yeah, it opens with a live action like bit where Todd McFarlane is basically in Spirit Halloween monologuing about like the darkness of man or something, and it was just, to me, it was unintentionally hilarious.
And I can't tell you anything about the monologue, but
I can't either.
It's a long like, what is mankind if not their violence? What is mankind if not the chains we impose upon ourselves? What if you had to wrap your guilt and the violence you wrought upon others throughout your life as an actual cloak of despair? Like shit like that.
It was very vapid, like darkness philosophy.
Yeah. That's well said. Vapid darkness philosophy.
Yeah, just edgy like 90s shit. And
so like most of Image Comics heroes, his lair is this particular alleyway and dumpster.
yeah, this one in particular.
He has magic fucking powers and he can go all across the city and he can flutter up onto a rooftop at like will, but like, stay out of this alleyway. This is my alleyway.
He chooses.
I feel like we covered that in the Max. Yeah,
in a dirty, like stinky alleyway.
Just one, not even alleyways, of which there are probably like thousands.
Yeah,
just this one. This one's his.
Just this one. Yeah. If I recall correctly, in the comics, he chooses to protect this alleyway because this is where he emerged, and the bums were kind to him.
Yeah, I think like the point is that he's supposed to be a protector of the invisible, the people that like go that aren't considered human.
Yeah,
right. Like the homeless, the unhoused people that found him, and instead of being like, holy shit, there's this hideous monster over here, let's like snap its neck or like call the police or whatever. They're like, hey, you okay, man?
Yeah, pretty much. And I believe there was a series of murders, like homeless people were getting killed.
Yes.
And that's why he chose to protect them.
And because they're invisible to society, mm-hmm. right? Like you shoot 3 like white kids on a train or in a subway and everyone loses their mind.
There's the Dark Knight reference. Take a drink.
Combined with Joker reference. What else? There's a lot of rats. There's dirty. It's supposed to be with the villains involved and the crooked cops. Like Todd McFarlane's thing is grittiness and brooding, and there are no good people. but there's redeemable people.
Yeah.
There's innocence, and it's like finding and protecting those slivers of the goodness of humanity, right? So like his I was gonna say ex, but I mean like he died, so it is his. I'm just gonna say ex-wife,
his widow.
His there we go, right? That he spends his time. He uses his ecto goo to spy on her a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Later on in the episode, he's like literally like in her house, just like watching
watching her and listening to her talk to a
reporter,
journalist, a reporter. I do like the way. So all the men are gross and ugly in Spawn, and all the chicks are hot. They got nice long nails. They make a point of like luscious lips, no matter what time of night. No, even when you're meeting a journalist at midnight, for some reason, heaven forbid Spawn do shit during the day. I don't even know if he can. Can he? I assume he can. But it's just like Gotham. You only ever see him like at night.
It's always night, yeah.
Night City.
I think he just hides during the day. He can go out in light. He's not a vampire, but he just hides during the day.
He just hides. And he has supernatural like stealth. Like he can just turn into a shadow and like a cape and like.
Yeah, he can literally like disappear into the shadows.
Yeah.
Something Batman
that's how he
wishes
spies.
he could do.
And it turns out there is one good cop left. Good old Twitch.
Twitch, yes. Some things like before we start breaking down the episode. Some things I want to call out. One, voice acting in this show is phenomenal. Like
I was surprised.
So was I.
I'm pleased. Yeah.
The animation is actually quite gorgeous for like how dark and broody it is. Something I discovered today, the animation in this show was partially done by Madhouse, the Japanese animation studio.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. People who've been listening for a long time know my feelings about anime generally, but I tend to like anime that's produced by Madhouse.
Huh.
Madhouse did Ninja Scroll. Madhouse did Samurai Champloo. Madhouse did a segment in the Animatrix.
That's right. Yeah. I still maintain Animatrix is great. God damn it. Paprika?
Yes, I think they did Paprika.
Is it? Let me check. Did you ever watch Perfect Blue? I feel like that's something you'd watch. I
love that movie.
So do I.
I first saw it when I was like 16.
That's something. I recommend that even for non-anime fans. Perfect Blue is more psychological.
It's just legitimately a good movie.
Yeah. I have Redline, but I have not watched it yet because I can't convince anybody to watch it with me. But I know like it took 10 years to make Redline and it's completely hand-drawn and it's like psychedelic space race.
A race in space is dangerous, baby.
A race in space is dangerous, baby.
Let's see.
Madhouse.
Film. What films has Madhouse done?
Ninja
Scroll. X.
Oh shit!
Perfect
X,
Blue.
Yeah.
They did the animation for Perfect Blue.
So they did. I thought it just seemed familiar. Which means they must have done Paprika because they look.
Vampire Enter D, Bloodlust, the anime remake of Metropolis.
I should watch that.
Tokyo Godfathers. Yep, Paprika.
Hell
Islander,
yeah.
The Search for Vengeance, which is actually it's one of the best Highlander movies, honestly.
You had said that, yeah.
I have it on DVD. Yeah, it's surprisingly good.
Wow, they did Gunslinger Girl. Who would have thought?
Trigun, Badlands Rumble.
Paranoia Agent.
Hunter x Hunter.
Damn, they're good. Needless to say, they're a long-lived and quite accomplished animation studio.
Yeah.
Damn! All the way back into the 80s we go.
Yeah, they've been around for a while now. Oh, I wonder if they did.
Have I watched Tokyo Godfathers? I feel like I have. Is that, what is that? Is that the one about the old ladies? Hell yeah, it is. Yeah. Or wait, no, about the kid and them trying to. Oh shit, I should rewatch that.
Did they do
Welcome
Black
to the
Clover? Black Lagoon, that's it. Yeah, they did Black Lagoon as well.
Everything cool, you say?
Yes. So anyway, despite me not being a really big fan of anime, I tend to like a lot of Madhouse stuff, and yeah, they did some of the animation in this show, and it shows.
And it shows. What else we gotta cover?
Yeah. Do you have anything you wanna add before we jump into it?
Can't remember what character, but when I was younger, my mom let me get a pretty detailed figurine of a mostly naked chick holding like a whip.
Oh yeah,
Spawn. Yeah.
Was it Angela?
And it had like actual leather for like parts of like the outfit and
Sweet.
Stuff that degraded over time. But
was it Angela?
Who? Oh man, I was so long ago. Who is? I want to say no. She was more like gothy and like. I think she had dark hair.
Huh.
Who knows? I'll let you know if I ever find the character. I'm sure she was from Spawn. Who's Nyx?
Nyx? Well, there's a Marvel comic called that was called Nyx that was about
Maybe
X-23.
No, it's not. Whatever that is. I'll let you know. Who knows?
All right.
Maybe it was just gender swap Spawn.
She Spawn.
I
used to have a figure back in the 2000s called Commando Spawn that was pretty sick.
Commando Spawn?
Yeah. I don't know whatever happened to that, but...
That does look pretty sick. Imagine, if you will, if you combined the Punisher with Spawn.
Or if Spawn just went back to his... leaned back more toward his like covert ops days, which he does at times in the comics, and hell, even in that live action movie, the superhero take on Spawn, he spends a lot of his time just like wielding guns in that movie.
Oh, I don't remember. Does he?
He does, yeah.
He just shoots guns. Maybe I'll rewatch it.
Doesn't have the cape most of the time because the cape was CGI, and that costs money.
The
suit
and
cool,
they CG'd like his like suit going. Like
I know that was one of the shots in the trailer, and I thought at the time that was like the coolest thing.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit! Look at that. That's so cool.
That's so cool. I'm 12 years old, and I like edgy, cool things.
And damn it, this was the movie for us.
It definitely was. Except I wasn't actually allowed to watch it for a little while, or read the comic, because my mom, who was like pseudo religious, found
this is sacrilegious.
It's quite
heathenous.
It's quite blasphemous.
Blasphemous, yeah.
Yeah, so my mom found out like what Spawn was all about, and was like, no, you can't read that anymore, and you can't watch the movie. And I was like, oh man.
And she took your Spawn comics and lit them on fire in front of you.
She didn't take the comics away from me, but for a while I wasn't allowed to buy new ones. But then, hilariously enough, my grandparents bought me the Spawn movie on VHS for Christmas.
Right in front of your mom?
Yeah.
You just open it and you're like...
Yeah, I was stoked. My
grandparents got me you can't say anything now.
Yeah, and indeed, by that time, my mom kind of gave up on it.
Fair.
And was just like, oh, whatever, watch it if you want to. And I'm like, cool.
It's only your soul. Cool, I will.
And I did. And I liked it, damn it.
All right. So we got anything else before we get into lay episode?
No, lay episode opens up with Spawn in the alley, and he's a brooding.
Oh, he's brooding, and he throws and breaks some shit.
He
Limp
screams,
Biscuits break stuff.
Wanda!
Wanda! And the CG mask goes off of his face. He throws and breaks some shit, and
Satan by Orbital starts playing.
And it shows just his face and his eyes glowing, and his ripped cape, like billowing behind him, and lightning strikes in the background. And he goes down to beat up some bums and be like, "Where is he?" And they're like, "Whoa, who are you talking about, man?" And he's like, the old guy. Tell me where he is." And they're like, "I don't know. He comes and goes. He's like a ghost, man, just like you."
He ends up in like
and I'm
the
like,
basement.
Can you just like land and ask them? Like, you didn't need to like pick him up and shake him conscious.
Yeah.
I feel like if he just like talked normally to people instead of being like this huge asshole in every interaction, he'd get a lot farther.
I mean, he is a demon, after all.
Fair, yeah. But I'm also led to believe that he was a good husband. So which is it? Is he a huge asshole, or was he a good guy?
Well, I mean, he didn't go to hell for nothing, you know.
You shoot some people because you're a soldier of fortune.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a good family man.
You commit secret political assassinations for this government agency.
And all of a sudden, you have to go to hell.
All of a sudden, you got to go to hell. I don't make the rules. So he ends up in the basement of this church.
Nobody does.
And he meets Cagliostro, who is a character, from what I recall, throughout the series. And it's only in this episode he finally asks him what his name is and what his deal's all about. And it's like, this is season 3.
8 episodes in, yeah. Or 14 episodes in, yeah.
We're 14 episodes in. This guy has been around since like the first season, and he's just now like asking him, "Hey man, what's your name?"
That's what I mean. Imagine how much the story could progress if he just wasn't a huge prick.
Yeah, that's a valid point. He tries like bossing Cagliostro around, and he's just like, "Sit your ass down. This is my domain."
He's like, out there in the homeless person streets, you can scare me, but here under the house of God, in this dirty basement I've been living in, sit your ass down, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, sir."
So he gives him his backstory. He's like, "I've been known by many names over the years, but right now you can call me Cagliostro.
I was also a great wizard seeking immortality named Wizard.
Named Wizardman.
I mean, named Wizardman. But to the medieval folk of the time, it was Merlin.
Jim Wizardman.
Jim Wizardman.
There should be a wizard man.
There should be a wizard man. So Cagliostro, Wizardman, basically says, "Hey, you ain't the first hellspawn.
And you
All
ain't
the
gonna be
others,
last."
they blow their necro goo too fast, and they go back to hell." And instead of being like, "Wow, you seem to know a lot about my situation. Maybe I should shut the fuck up and listen to you." I don't know. He's like brooding and angry, and he's like, "If you won't give me answers, I'll go elsewhere." You have his page, dude. How many months have you been hiding in the alley, like the fucking smelly, shitty alley?
Yeah.
Like, be nice for like 2 minutes.
I think
and this immortal being, has the answers you need.
I think
Shut
in the
up, dude.
episode they mentioned that he's been back for like 6 months now. So yeah, he's been in this alley for like 6
Taking him
months.
6 months to fucking talk to this guy.
To finally,
every other night he's been blowing his necro goo, watching his wife through the window. So the old guy's like, "Hey, you don't want to blow your necro goo everywhere. You're gonna go off to hell unless you like listen to me, homie."
Later on in the show, he figures out he can shapeshift and impersonate other people. He impersonates her new husband and has sex with her.
In this show?
In the show, yeah.
Maybe he is a bad guy.
That's creepy as hell.
That's the R word. That's whole
That's messed up.
creepy is like very minimum way to put that. Holy shit. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie
I
Excalibur?
knew that this was a
That's some Excalibur shit right there.
Excalibur. Have I?
It's from 1980, I think. It's kind of a cult classic.
I have not watched this.
But so in the beginning of the movie, Merlin, this like king wants to really have sex with this like queen of this other kingdom. So Merlin makes it so he looks like her husband.
Imagine being like a king and you're like, man, I really want to fuck this queen. And your royal vizier, your royal wizard, the only real wizard in the known like kingdoms is like, tell you what if I transform you into her husband temporarily so you can nut in her
and produce a child, and that's how King Arthur is born.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Excalibur.
Holy shit, I need to watch that. That's fucked.
It's a pretty good movie. Like I said, it's kind of a cult classic now. But I will warn you, though, it's very long.
Well, one of those.
It's long. It's like almost 3 hours, I think.
It's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
Well, they really like the shiny lens flare. Is this when they discovered lens flare?
No,
it was the 70s when people discovered lens flare.
I thought it was all J.J. Abrams' fault.
Was it J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams, yeah.
Yeah.
Excalibur film.
Holy shit. Jean-Luc Picard is in this movie?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Like I said, it's been a long time since I watched it. I haven't seen it since, 2009.
So if you gain the ability to shapeshift, don't do it for creepy stuff.
The sorcerer Merlin retrieves the magical sword Excalibur for Uther Pendragon, who is declared king. In exchange for their future child, Merlin helps Uther seduce Ingrain, the Duke of Cornwall's wife, while the Duke dies in battle.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so question.
Anyway.
Mystique. She can shapeshift. She can shapeshift into men, women. She has their voice, probably their genitals. Mystique transforms into a dude, fucks that dude's wife, then runs off, right? Transforms and is like, he. What's the kid? Does she have like the DNA of the person? Probably not, right? It's just visual.
I think it's just visual, yeah. And I don't think Mystique can like change like reproductive capabilities.
You don't think Mystique can have a dick?
I'm not sure, actually. I know she's given birth because in the comics, Nightcrawler is her son, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Can Mystique have a dick?
We're asking the real questions.
The hard-hitting questions. Fun fact, at one point, the plan was for Mystique to turn out to be Rogue's father, with Destiny, her mother.
Oh. Rogue's mom's name is Destiny. Was she a stripper?
There have been plans for her to actually be capable of swapping genders. However, it's never been implemented. As of yet, Mystique is biologically female and does not actually change her gender when she changes her shape.
So it is just visual then.
See other people asking these questions online too. I think the penis would be purely aesthetic, not functional.
Oh, man.
If you're really into this, you should read Clive Barker's Imagica.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, hell, look at in Mallrats. Like Brody is like talking about how like the only way Superman can fuck Lois is with a kryptonite condom. Because otherwise his load would be so powerful it would like blow through her like a shotgun.
Oh, that right. I remember that.
So nerds do have these conversations.
That's right.
Anyway, so
she can't change her biology, which means she can't nut.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame.
real crying shame.
Because otherwise, like Mystique would be like a bisexual person's wet dream,
right?
Like a bisexual. Thank you, Ted. That was the joke. Oh man. So
what's going on here? The main plot is around a police officer who's trying to do good.
So, yeah, there was some murders that happened in this alley recently, and one of them was a police officer. And the chief of police gets a call from Jason Wynn, being like, oh, I want this case like solved or something or whatever. And so the police chief puts his two best cops, Sam and Twitch, on the case to figure out like what's going on. And there's also a reporter.
Yeah, there's a reporter. There's one.
We see her boobs.
I thought the reporter is different than the assassin. I thought those were different chicks.
No, they're the same.
Oh, okay.
So she's a reporter who just moonlights as an assassin, or vice versa.
Or vice versa. Oh, okay. But yeah, there's boobs in there as she sensually touches herself with like holy water or has some weird spooky ritual as she begins the hunt.
And on Crave, the Canadian streaming service that I watched this on earlier, during the scene, the subtitle reads speaks in foreign. Speaks in foreign.
Yeah, she says some like I don't know if it's actually supposed to be gibberish or if it's an actual language. But she says her handler or something, or is that actually what's his name? The same guy that's like talking to the police commissioner.
That was the same guy, Jason Wynn.
Okay, yeah. He's all like, oh, I need you to find out and like take out this like cape person or whatever. And he's talking about how effective she is or whatever, and she's talking about, oh, they all smell the same. And he's like, what? Well, and what's that? Like a murderer. And he's like, you know what? You are one spooky bitch or something. Yeah. You are one scary lady or something like that. Before she sits down next to her chains and candle altar and like sensually like blesses herself while speaking foreign. I didn't realize that's the same chick as the journalist. And she meets up with Twitch and is like, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, and they exchange some information. And I like this guy.
Yeah,
I like this Twitch guy.
Yeah, because Twitch goes to the chief of police was like, okay, I want you guys to figure out what's going on with this guy with the red cape, because Jason Wynn wants him like disappeared, basically. So Twitch goes to prison and meets Chapel, who was the guy who actually killed Al Simmons.
Yeah.
And knows Al Simmons is back, and he was like, oh, like what, who attacked you? And he was like, oh, it was Al Simmons. He like had glowing green eyes and like a red cape, and he's like, interesting.
Yeah. So he goes to I can't remember if it's like ancient early internet or just like one of those like archive like machines.
I think it's old computer.
Is it old computer? And he finds out who Al Simmons is and how he died and what he did.
I do think it's kind of hilarious that all of these articles were written by this one journalist, Lisa Wu. Every single article that he looks at about Al Simmons. Yeah,
I didn't realize.
Yeah, it was written by her.
Suspicious.
who is also the assassin.
And nutritious.
Known
Who's
as
also
Jake.
the assassin.
Yeah.
And well, he goes into this alleyway and he's like, he just starts speaking into the darkness, hoping that like Spawn is there. And sure enough, he is. And he's like, oh, I'm going to scare you and spook you. Get away from here. Don't come into this alley.
And Twitch is basically like, yeah, are you threatening me, good sir? And he's like, what if I am? He's
What
like,
if I am, bucko?
well, if you are, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to take this gun and put a bullet between your eyes.
And there's a scene earlier introducing Twitch and Sam. Describes Twitch as too smart for his own good, and Sam as a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Sam is apparently the worst fucking shot in the world because he didn't even, they're at the shooting range and he doesn't hit the big like body target like even once. And he's like, the gun's broken. Oh, blah, blah. And Twitch is like, oh, let me see that. Oh, sure. And it's jammed. And he just like clears the chamber, reloads, and then shoots off like expertly. I think he even just uses one hand. He doesn't even like use both. And then when it comes back, it's like in a perfect cross shape. And Sam's like, oh, you're lucky. So we do know that he's an extraordinarily like uncannily like good shot.
He's a good shot and a good cop. I do think it's kind of funny in this episode that Jason Wynn was like to the chief of police, I need you to figure out this business with the guy with the red cape. So he puts Sam and Twitch on it. Twitch figures out what the business is, but it ends up being self-defeating for Jason Wynn because Twitch ends up piecing the link between Al Simmons' murder, the man in the red cape, and Jason Wynn.
And so then the follow-up call is, hey, I need you to find out everything that Twitch has found out.
And then I need you
and
to
who
take
knows it and where it is. And then the police chief's like, okay, and then what? And then he's like, oh, well, he's a heroic cop. There'll be a good police funeral for him, and give me the address to send flowers to.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that like if Jason Wynn hadn't like told like the chief of police, I need you to find someone to deal with this man in the red cape business. If he hadn't done that, then none of this would have come back to him.
Yeah, so it's all him.
It was kind of a self-defeating plan.
Yeah, and the only people that pay for it are like Twitch and his partner Sam.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening after there's some talks, as the reporter lady finds out and confronts his widow.
While Spawn is being creepy in the shadows, just watching and listening.
Yeah, as one does. And she's like, he's back, isn't he? You've met him. You can level with me. And she's like, oh, I don't know how, but blah, blah, blah. And like, he's like still around. And
I can feel his presence.
And
as like Spawn is like leaning over her, like breathing into her ear.
I have to conserve my ecto goo. as he's like as he's edging in the corner.
Yeah.
And sure enough, so she's figured out everything Twitch has, basically.
Yeah.
But they have different like motives. So Twitch, who lets Spawn go and is like, so who's at the top of all this, right? And like is like, holy shit, like I'm here to figure this out. And he's like, you think you can change the world? What's the point?
Yeah, because Twitch is like, when he's talking to Spawn, is all like, I think that you're Al Simmons. I think you somehow survived getting burned alive, and that this was all a big like government like cover up. And Spawn,
and then you didn't kill anybody or whatever. And he's like, oh, really? You think I didn't kill anybody? And he's like, I didn't think you killed the cop. And he's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, and Spawn's like, you're closer to this than you realize. You're closer to finding out.
And
the
then
truth
tries
than
to
you
scare
realize.
him as he says that by pulling off his mask and showing him his gnarly fucking face and teeth. And Twitch is just funny. The guy doesn't twitch, and the guy doesn't even like look away.
Yeah, he's very.
You think this is my first time seeing a fucking zombie?
So Twitch is a very good cop. He's very smart. He's a good shot, and dude has nerves of steel, and apparently isn't afraid of anything.
Yeah, that's why. And here's the thing: the good guys last like 4 episodes at most, 4 issues at most, and like Spawn, like it's not. It's a bad guys like live forever and good guys like get fucked over kind of.
Well, and Sam and Twitch ended up being so popular that they got their own spin-off comic that lasted for a long time.
No shit?
Yeah, they're very popular Spawn characters.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I immediately liked the characters.
Yeah, me too. I will say too that this episode really made me want a chili dog.
Yeah, there's a part where when he's going through the archives or the internet or whatever, he's like, so how's the chili dog? And he's all like, oh, could have used more onions. Oh, no. And he's like, oh, at least the air quality will be better in here. And he's like, ha, 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 you should have been a comedian. I'm going to go grab a soda. You want anything? And so it's been revealed this whole time he's doing all the legwork, and like Sam goes along for the ride. Like he's just there. But in the very least, Sam's intentions are good, and he's loyal to his partner. Yeah,
they're like, he's not the greatest cop in the world, but like they are good friends. They care about each other.
Yeah. So again, partway as the episode was going on, I like the dark monologues and like gooning in your like in the dark corner over your wife could be like shortened down like a little bit. But I like the drama and the intrigue of the cops and them piecing together. It's kind of like there's like detective vibes going on as like the rest of the world interacts with Spawn, rather than the POV, you are Spawn gooning in the alleyway. Right? POV, you're Spawn and watching your wife fuck her new husband.
Well, and indeed, Todd McFarlane has always like favored the take on Spawn, where Spawn is just kind of there and the world is going on around him.
Yeah, and that almost makes him seem like he's not doing as much as he could or can, but there's an
whereas like really in the live action movie, like
he's very proactive.
In the live action movie, that the superhero Spawn, as I mentioned earlier, that story is very much about him. He is driving the plot in that movie, whereas in this, the plot is kind of going on around Spawn, and Spawn is just kind of there.
Yeah, and I could see this episode got me. I was like, oh shit, like maybe I'll actually really like this. But I could see somebody sitting down and watching like 20 episodes of this being like, oh, he doesn't fucking do anything. Like, go do shit, dude. Go like swing your chains around and like spray your necroplasm on the bad guy. Like, go after the guy that fucked you over. Don't just sit here like feeling bad about yourself. And he can leave. He doesn't have like vampire rules. Like he can trespass. Right, like it's showing him like spying on people. So go kill some bitches, man.
Well, and indeed, he does do stuff in this show. Like,
okay,
like I think it was in season 2. We saw Chapel in prison in this episode, and I think it was in season 2. They fought for like they had a fight that lasted like 2 or 3 episodes.
Damn.
Yeah. I'll never forget the line where Chapel is like, "What the fuck are you?" And Spawn replies, "Your worst fucking nightmare."
Your worst fucking nightmare, I tell you what. So what ends up happening in this? We know the police chief is going to go take care of Twitch. He We don't really know what's going to happen to Sam. He runs back. This is really, at first I'm like, this is really damning for the police chief because he meets with Sam and Twitch in the alley. Sam runs off to go look for something. And he's like, wow, you're a good cop, Twitch. Before he like pulls a gun on him and like shoots him between the eyes.
Yeah.
The death POV as like things go red and he like falls on the ground and like his consciousness is leaving or whatever is quite that's an interesting take. Without having to show like him showing his point of view is interesting.
It goes to black and you hear Sam like sounding
through the muffled
saying like Twitch is down, officer down, sounding legitimately distressed. So
like
10 out of 10
Siege
acting.
said earlier, like good, actually like very good voice acting. And then it's like, well, how much did he share with his partner? Like, also, there were only 3 of you there. Like, he might be an idiot, but he might piece things together, and it's because the intention was to take out Sam too, because you don't know what.
If I recall correctly, they end up trying to frame Spawn, and I don't think Twitch actually. I don't think Twitch actually dies.
I was going to ask you because it shows him barely clinging to consciousness, and Sam being like, "Oh, you're not dying today," or like whatever, and I'm like, "Does this motherfucker live?"
I think he does, yeah.
And you had said that there's like a spinoff, so
yeah.
Sam runs off to go find the killer, and he says, "Oh, he's got like green eyes and like this like red cape." Backup comes and stops the chief from taking out Sam. So there's a kink in the plan there, right?
Yeah.
And he runs off, and to his credit, like when this guy needs to hustle, thinking Spawn like killed him, he shoots down a door, kicks it open, runs up like a flight of stairs faster than like anybody that size usually can, and like runs across the rooftops.
Did you keep watching the next episode?
I did. Wait, did I accidentally watch 3 episodes?
I think you did, because
oh shit.
Because when I watched it earlier, it ended with "to be continued." When Sam was being like, "Officer down."
The next. Oh shit! I accidentally cut into. You know what? I forgot, but now I remember. When I went to pause, I was 5 minutes into the next. That's right.
Yeah.
That's into the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. The episode ends with a black screen that says "to be continued," with Sam like sounding distressed, being like, "Twitch is down. Twitch is down.
Twitch is down. What are we gonna watch?"
The Lazor Comb podcast. That's what.
Hey. So final thoughts on the episode from me. I was not expecting like a detective like learned, and here's why it doesn't perfectly work. Not to just say good things, but some bad things too. It's interesting seeing the characters piece it together, but where it falls apart for me is that the audience already knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, a cool movie or TV show that follows that kind of plot about detective work is the idea that the viewer might follow along with and go, wait, what if it's this? And like the idea that you're uncovering it alongside the protagonists, right?
You want to know a really good detective show that it lasted 4 seasons. It ended a couple of years ago now, but I actually just finally like finished the 4th season. A show called The Sinner.
Sinner.
It's on Netflix. 4 seasons. It stars Bill Pullman. Each season is about a different murder. Now, what's different about this show versus other detective shows that I think make it really interesting is we know right away what the crime was. We know who did it. What the show is about is figuring out why this person murdered this person.
I used to watch Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
And not for everybody that watches like those types of shows, but it wasn't like CSI. It was about finding out why or often like who, and it was about like profilers, like FBI or whatever, like profiling to find out like why psychologically like someone is doing something, or to find out when they might do it again, or find patterns in that or whatever. So I could get behind that.
Yeah, it's a really, really good show. The last season got really strange.
Oh, it's rated really high.
Yeah, I was
like
just
92%.
Yeah, it was funny. My ex actually had recommended the show to me because she thought it was like a horror show. She was like, "Oh, it's like a horror like cop show. Like I think you'll really like it." And so I ended up checking it out. It's not a horror show at all.
Many things are marked as horror.
But I ended up actually really liking it and watching through the whole thing.
Some people confuse the we worked at Blockbuster, not to brag or whatever, and we understand the genre difference between thriller and horror.
Yeah.
Or suspense, which is technically different than thriller.
The best season of The Sinner is the one that has Carrie Coon in it. Carrie Coon, who I'm actually quite a big fan of as an actor. Which season was that?
She looks familiar. Why does she look familiar?
She's been in a lot of things. Season 2, yeah. She was in season 2 was the best season.
What is White Lotus? Everyone's talking about it. I feel like an old man. What's White Lotus? Why are people watching this show?
I think it's an HBO series that like just ended.
I don't like watching shows about like rich people doing rich people things.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Because if that's what it is, I don't. I like there was like the Queen or the Princess, or like whenever those shows are like out or whatever, I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
I saw a meme a little while ago that like declared White Lotus like the ultimate white person show.
Lol.
Which
like I was hoping it'd be about something else, but of course you take like Asian iconography and then it's about white people. I don't actually know what the show is about. It could be
the
very
series follows the exploits of the guests and staff during a week spent at a fictional luxury global resort hotel.
Maybe that could be cool. Maybe it's cool. I don't know.
Well, you know what is cool? The Sinner. You should check.
I'm gonna watch it. I get, just based on its advertising, I get Alan Wake vibes.
Yeah, it even especially the last season even gets into some like almost quasi like Twin Peaks type stuff.
Oh shit. All right.
Yeah, it's The Sinner, really good show. You know what else was a good show?
Soul, but I'm not a sinner.
What? You know what else was a good show? Todd McFarlane's Spawn. When I got the to be continued screen at the very end, I was tempted,
which I apparently missed and just kept fucking watching.
I just kept watching.
Episode.
I was tempted to just keep going with it. Honestly,
the cut I watched didn't have the to be continued, and immediately and without showing like a little timer or an ad, started playing into the next one. So I didn't even know I was watching into the next one. And I guess we got our ratings left. Siege, you just watched a random episode of Todd McFarlane's Spawn. Would you tune in next week?
Yeah, totally. I think I might actually go back and rewatch this show because I haven't watched it in like 20 years.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought you were, because when you opened with there's a lot of brooding and like sitting on like being a gargoyle. Like sitting up on like rooftops and like monologuing and stuff like that. I was like, oh, he doesn't like this, huh? But no, I agree. I would tune in next week, and I actually it's on Crave.
It is on
Crave. Maybe I'll actually get Crave and just to watch this and some other things.
There's
so yeah, it's a yes. We would. from both of us, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yes, Todd McFarlane, you son of a bitch, you've done it again.
And, well, that was episode 118 of the Lazor Comb podcast.
God. Yeah. 118 of these things. Oh, I noticed you got a Spawn theme, a color theme going with your hat and shirt.
Yeah, I'm wearing a black and red Daredevil hat. I'm wearing a black and red Rob Zombie shirt. It was the closest I could get to like something like Spawn-ish. And I'm wearing
now I too am
otherwise.
Spawn. My chair is Spawn.
I too am become Al Spawnman.
I too am become Al Spawnman, protector of bums.
If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. Starting at the $5 tier, you get a bonus weekly Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lazor Comb Patreon Super Show. $10 tier, you get that, the occasional commentary track, and the ability to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on this very podcast, much like our patron Roy did. So if you want
treat yourself to some animated boobies,
if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb. Oh, and if you support us at the $20 level, you can pick the episode as well.
That's right. You get to bend the rules.
Yeah.
And pick the episode. So we can't just, oh, you guys landed on a bad episode. Now you can prevent that and get us to watch an episode of your choice just for us to still not like the show. You too can pay to have us disappointed in your favorite children's show for mere $20.
A mere $20.
Mere.
Follow us on Blue Sky and TikTok. Links in the description, as always. If you're watching the video version, give it a like, give it a subscribe, leave a comment.
Come on. Yeah, leave a comment. It drives engagement.
It does. And actually, I've been noticing people have been commenting more lately, so cool.
Look at that. So at the beginning, we need to be like, what's up, gang? It's your boy, Neo and Siege. Smash that bell, hit that like, subscribe. While there's an air horn like playing in the background. One of us needs to...
big thanks to our sponsor, because this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. Or
imagine.
Or Harry's Razors, Dollar Shave Club.
Dollar Shave Club.
Shopify.
Oh, God, yeah, there you go. Honey.
Yeah.
Actually, nobody's taking Honey sponsorships anymore because of that big scandal.
Oh, what was that?
Honey, automatically, it's a little like free ad thing you can like add on.
Oh, I know what Honey is. I just don't know about the scandal.
So the scandal is, it would oftentimes, like, let's say you're following a sponsorship, right? Yeah. And let's say ours is like LCP, right? Yeah. So go to put in the code LCP to get like 10%. Now they can get 10% off like normally, but like what that does is it lets the buyer, it goes, oh, okay, like we got like this many number of like new subscriptions because of LCP. So like we'll work with them in the future, or oh, we didn't get that many, so we would do that again, but for less money. It lets them gauge or whatever. Honey would hijack it and put in its own codes.
Oh.
Instead of, so people would promote it on their channels, and then even if their people went to support them and put it in and had Honey active, ironically, not if you don't have it active.
Oh,
if
weird.
You did, yeah, it would put in its like own codes and automatically overwrite things, because that's the codes it would put in.
That seems like it makes the whole thing kind of pointless then.
So yeah, and not only that, if you think about it, how many times that makes Honey money, but not the people sponsoring it. it was this big thing, and it's like, how many tens of millions of dollars does it owe to all the people that it like did sponsorships like with that
Oh, wow.
couldn't put into their own codes? So when that exploded, it got boycotted.
Naughty, naughty.
Naughty, naughty. You know what? And my neighbor, he goes to Honey, tries to put in code. He cannot afford.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh, we're making all the dated references today.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. We do it for you. Yeah. Speaking of dated references, come onto the Patreon and listen to us talk about like
Ask a Ninja.
And Ask
Attack of the Show.
Who's back? Attack of the Show. Fucking 2000s were a strange time, folks.
They were, but they were our time. Damn it.
That's right.
That was when the world was our oyster.
That's right.
It's not anymore.
Generation to kill ourselves. Cue up footage from Jet Li's The One. Editors, get right on that.
Let the bodies hit the flow. Let the bodies hit the flow.
Hit the flow.
We will be back next week with episode 119 of the Lazor Comb podcast. Now, this one isn't a Patreon pick, but it fits the theme of Image Comics. So next week, we're going to be talking about Witchblade.
Witchblade?
Witchblade.
Witchblade.
Witchblade? Witchblade.
Not to be confused with Slingblade.
Not to be confused with Witchfinder General.
I don't know what that is.
That's a band.
Oh, okay. So we're watching a really cool anime Witchblade, you say?
This is a live action Witchblade.
Ooh, I have a feeling we're gonna love this.
So, I have hit screen share. This is Witchblade ran for
proving
for 2 seasons from 2001 to 2002.
You've got like a Windows 95 color scheme.
I do, yeah.
I hate it.
It was actually Bing, Edge asked me, it's like, hey, do you want to install this Windows 95 retro theme? And I'm like, yes, I do.
It is actually 95 themed. Okay,
It is, yeah. I if I could, I would actually make all of my Windows 11 look like Windows 95.
All the icons and
even
the start screen, and
or even better, Windows ME.
You monster. I thought I was the only one that used that.
My grandparents had Windows ME for a while on their computer that I used to use to burn CDs on.
Hell yeah.
When I lived with them. All right. How many episodes does it have? 23?
23.
One random number between 1 and 23. And here we go. Let the bodies hit the flow. 16. Season 2. It's a season 2-fer.
A season 2-fer?
Season 2, episode 5, Static. When a rock star meets his untimely demise, Sarah and Danny are called in on a series of strange homicides. But when Sarah discovers that the killer is using a trail of mayhem to lure her into a trap, her investigation turns into a fight for the Witchblade.
A fight for the Witchblade?
Witchblade?
Witchblade.
So we'll be back next week with that. And until then, I have been Christopher McFarlane's Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm Cal Simmons, your other host.
Cal Simmons, there we go. Thanks for listening. We will Witchblade you next time.
I certainly hope not.